Hi, this is Yoga with Domini and I'm Domini. Today I'm just going to take you through a short little flow for tight, stiff hips. So if you've been sitting at a desk all day or sitting in a car all day, or you just tend to have quite tight hips, or you hold a lot of tension in your hips like a lot of people do, especially women, this one's a good one for that. For this little flow we are going to need a block. So if you don't have one of these, just grab some DVDs, or like a box set of DVDs or something, or a big book, or cushions or blankets. If you're using DVDs or books to lean on, you might want to get a blanket or a cushion as well, just to put over the top of it to make it a bit more comfy. But yeah, just think outside the box, grab whatever you've got, and we'll get started. So we're just going to start in a seated pose, nice cross-legged seat if you can. I know sometimes when people have got quite tight hips and thighs, they can't sit in a cross-legged position, so whatever position is comfortable for you. I have some of my yoga clients that just sit like that, or like that, like more of a diamond shape. So whatever works for you really. And then we're just going to go into some seated cat-cows. If you're taking a different seated position to this and the cat-cows don't feel nice, so if you've got your legs out like that and you're thinking this doesn't feel, doing the cat-cows doesn't feel right, do it on all fours. So go into a tabletop position and just do the cat-cow on all fours. But otherwise, from this seated position, I usually breathe in as I push my chest out and lift my chin up to the sky, but you can always breathe out on this motion if you want. It just depends what feels good. And then I usually breathe out as I curve my back towards the back wall behind me and push my chin to my chest. But as I said, just breathe how it feels good for you. So we're warming up our lower back here as well as our hips, because you're getting a bit of rocking in the hips there as you're tilting your pelvis forward and back basically. And you're warming up your lower back, your whole spine, your shoulders, your neck. One more each way. And then we're going to come onto our backs for bridge pose. Lower down. Nice neutral spine, just lay how you would normally lay, try not to change anything. And then nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just peel your pelvis, your tailbone off of the mat, and the rest of your pelvis, your hips, your spine, one at a time. And you want to keep your upper back and your shoulders and everything on the mat. It's just your lower and mid back that are off the mat. Try not to push up too high. Just go as far as you feel is comfortable for you. Just stretching out and strengthening those hips a little bit there. Nice deep breaths in and out. Try and breathe into that space. So as you're breathing in, try and imagine that breath is going to your hips. And then out and back down. We are going to do, come back up to a seated position. Butterfly pose this time though. So feet together, knees nice and wide. Have your feet as close in or out as you need them to be. Again, you can have it a bit more of a diamond shape if you need to. And I'm just going to flutter my legs basically. So pulsing my knees up and down. Just gently. Getting a little bit of movement in those hips. Building up a teensy bit of heat just to warm them up a little bit. Breathing in and out. Again, when you're taking that breath in, just imagine that breath's going to the hips. So you're breathing into your hip area Next, we're just going to put our elbows on our thighs here. And I'm going to push into my legs. So I'm trying to push my knees further down towards the mat. But then I'm trying to push my legs up into my elbows. So there's some resistance there. So I'm trying to push my legs down into the mat with my elbows. But then I'm trying to push my arms up with my legs. Remember, try not to slouch too much in this. Try and keep a nice posture. We're just creating a bit of resistance there. Just letting the muscles work a little bit. You can always relax. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just do it again. And again, just relax. Take a nice deep breath in. And out as you do it again. One more time, just relax, breathe in. Breathe out as you do it again. If you're starting to get cramp or anything in your hips, obviously just stop doing this and just go for, just maybe flutter them again. And then release. We're just going to go into a nice forward fold. So staying in this butterfly pose, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, we're hinging from the hips because it's the hips we're trying to stretch out and work here. So you might not be able to go down as far because you're trying to keep a nice flat back and just hinging from the hips. You can pulse in this pose if you want to, or you can stay stationary. Anyone who does my videos regularly will know that I do like to move in my poses. I don't like to stay stationary too much. I like to do little pulses or sways or whatever. And release. Take a nice deep breath in and out. We're just going to bring our hands behind our back, bring our legs out a little bit wider than hip width, up onto the heels. We're just going to windshield wiper the legs. So we're going to try and get a little bit of internal rotation with those hips as well. We're always rotating the hips out. We want to try and rotate them in a little bit as well. So that's a very neglected thing for a lot of people, not just in yoga, for everything really, is that internal rotation of the hips, and it's good. So you want to try and get all the movement, the range of movement that you can really. So a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just drop both knees over to the right, just as far as they'll go. They don't need to go very, very far. You just want to push them just slightly so you just feel it working. You can feel that stretch. And then breathe in, back to center. Breathe out the other way. Both knees go over to the left. Breathe into center. Breathe out to the right. And you might feel yourself shifting down the mat. You might have to lift your bum up and bring yourself back again a bit. Breathe into center. Breathe out to the left. Breathe into center. Breathe out to the right. Breathe into center. Breathe out to the left. And this time we're just going to keep our legs here. We're going to come up with our body, upper body. Turn to face the left leg and fold over it, just as far as you can go. So you're keeping a 90-degree angle with that front leg, that left leg, 90-degree angle with the back leg as well. This is why this is called 90-90. And you're just folding over that front leg. Breathing in the pose. Remember that breathing into the hip. So here you can sort of imagine that you're breathing into this left hip because that's where you should be feeling it quite a bit. And on your next inhale, come back up. Switch to the other side. Folding over that right leg, 90-degree angle with both legs. Breathing into that right hip. next inhale, back up. And we're going to come onto all fours just to transition into a gate pose. So I'll do this way so you can see what I'm doing. Right leg is going to come out to the side. So you've got a hip, knee, ankle alignment. Toes are pointing forward. If that feels really uncomfortable, you can have them pointing the same direction as your leg. But generally, you want to try and have them pointing forward and really push into that outer edge of that foot. So you're not rolling in like this. And we're just going to cat-cow from here. So, nice deep breath in and cow position. So dip in the belly, lifting your gaze, and then breathe out. Curve the back up, chin to chest. Remember what I said about the breathing, you can always breathe out here and in here. I know some people prefer that way. For me, I prefer to breathe in here and out here. Last one. And then we'll just come up and actually do a gate pose. So we're just gonna take a nice deep breath in, left arm up, and then as you breathe out, just bend gently over towards that straight leg, so the right leg. Just a nice side stretch. You should really feel it in that hip. Again, you're getting a bit of a different range of motion there. Back down onto the hands and knees variation of gate pose, and then we're just going to thread the needle. So left arm is coming under the right towards that right foot, and then head and shoulder to the mat. Try and push into this right hip, so don't let it come up. Don't let your left hip dip too much and your right hip come up. Push down into that hip. So we're basically, like I say, getting a slightly different range of motion, getting hip abduction, but from a floor sort of pose. And then back up. Nice deep breath in, bring that leg in. And switch to the other side. So bring the left leg out into that gate pose. Tabletop variation, and then do some cat-cows from here. So breathing in, dip your belly and lift your gaze, and then breathe out, curve the back up. Breathe in. And out. And just keep doing that in your own time. With this cat-cow variation, in the gate pose variation, I really like this one for the hips because you can really feel it in that left hip there a lot more. You're really getting into it. And back up, keeping that leg where it is, just doing that side stretch, so breathing in, arm up, and out as you just stretch over to the left. Don't go too far, just as much as you can feel that it's working. Don't lean into this knee either. I'm just resting my hand on my leg, there's no weight on it at all. So don't lean on to your knee and damage it. Nice deep breath in. Come back up and then down onto all fours again for that thread the needle. So my right arm is coming under the left, heading towards my left foot. Shoulder and head on the mat. This arm can just be doing whatever you want it to do. And breathing into that hip again, making sure you're not letting this left hip ride up, pushing down into it. And you should know whether you're pushing down into it enough because you'll feel a stretch in your inner thigh. Make sure you're breathing. Remember breathing into that hip. So just imagining that breath going to this left hip. Take a nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, come back up. Okay, we're going to go into frog pose, but we're going to do rocks. So basically frog pose is your legs again at a 90-degree angle but out to the side, and then you come down. This might be a little bit too intense for a lot of people, so I don't want you to try it if you're like, oh no, that feels really bad. Don't push yourself into it. What you can do instead is a wide child's pose. So bring your big toes together, knees nice and wide, and rock in that wide-legged child's pose. For anyone who's good doing the frog pose, get into that and just gentle rock. So you're not going to be, it's not a very big range of motion, just very, very, very gentle. Watch that lower back. If you start to feel any pain or pinching, just stop and go into that wide-legged child's pose instead. Make sure you're breathing. Nice big breaths in and out. Rocking back and forth. And then in whichever variation you're in, whether it's frog pose or wide-legged child's pose, just stay there in it. So either in your wide-legged child's pose or your frog pose. Just take a little bit of stationary time there. And wide-legged child's pose is just as good as this. Everyone's different. There's no egos. Don't try and push yourself into something that's going to hurt you. Do whatever feels good for you. You're working the same things. It's just some people have a bit more of a range of motion than other people. They're a little bit more flexible. Their joints might be slightly different. You know, it's not all about that person can do that, I should be able to do it. You might not ever be able to do it, depending on your joint, how your joints are, how your joints work, how your flexibility is. You know, that you're only in competition with yourself, basically. So don't push yourself to a point where you hurt yourself. Nice deep breath in, and then as you breathe out, just straighten your legs, or if you're in that child's pose, just come onto your belly. And then up onto hands and knees, and we're just going to do a lizard pose. So it's like a low lunge. You're bringing your right foot up to the top of the mat, but it's going to be on the outer edge of your right hand rather than in between the two hands. So more like that. And you're welcome to just stay there. Give your knee on the mat. Leg, just a right leg, so the bent leg, just a little bit further sort of out, so you're feeling it a little bit more in your hips. Nice deep breath in and out. You can rock, you can sway, you can pulse. You can even bring that back leg off and rock a little bit in this position if you want to. If you're particularly flexible and you're able to do it, you can always come down onto your forearms and do lizard pose from there. And then bring that knee back and just switch to the other side. So left foot up to the outer edge of the left hand. Nice deep breath in. And then breathe out as you just lunge into that front leg. Again, doing whatever sort of variation you feel like you want to do. Being here is absolutely fine. You should feel it in that hip, that left hip. Also in the right hip, but in a different way, because you're stretching that one out a bit differently than you are the left hip. And then we're going to come onto our backs for happy baby. So bringing your knees into your chest, you can then just bring your knees wide so your knees are heading more towards your sides, armpit area, and you can stay here, that's absolutely fine. Just try and push down on those legs so you're pushing your knees down towards the floor. Obviously they're not going to get there, but in that general direction. And you can rock if you want. You can grab the outer edges of your feet and have your legs at a more 90-degree angle so that you're trying to walk, looks like you're trying to walk on the ceiling, and push down on your feet very gently in this position. If this is difficult, you can always use a strap. So get a strap around and pull in using the strap, and you can use like a belt or a towel or blanket or anything for that really. It doesn't have to be any specific special equipment. Nice deep breath in and out. One more. Breath in and out. Release that. Keep your left leg bent, put your right ankle over your left thigh, just below your knee. And this might be enough for your reclined pigeon or figure 4 stretch. And just pushing back on that right leg, just to get a little bit more of a stretch. You can always put your hand through the middle and then clasp your hands behind that left thigh and pull your leg in a bit more if you want a bit of a deeper stretch. Nice deep breath in and out. Again, breathing into that hip, so that right hip. Trying to imagine that your breath is going there. So nice deep breath into that hip and out. Staying in this position, we're going to do a twist. So you can release your hands, but just take a nice deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, just twist over to the left. You can always use props here. So if you've got blocks or cushions or something, you can put them underneath your foot, your right foot, and have your feet up a little bit more. If this doesn't feel great doing it this way, you can always just straighten the left leg and bend the right leg and twist over like that instead, if that feels better. But otherwise you'll be in that figure 4 position and twisting. Trying to keep your shoulders on the mat, especially your right one, because your right one might feel like it needs to lift up and go over that way as well, but try and keep it on the mat, arms out wide. You can look up or over to the right side. Breathe in, back to center. Breathe out and switch legs. So left ankle over the right thigh. You might want to just stay here, or you can pull it in a little bit again. Nice deep breaths in and out, breathing into that left hip this time. And take a nice big inhale, and on your exhale just twist over to the right. And like I said, you can always have something under this foot and knee if you want to put something under there, so you're bringing the floor up to you. Or you can always just do the straight leg, knee bent, twist over that way variation. And breathe in, back to center. Nice breath out as you release. Grab your block or your pillow or whatever you've got. And we're just going to finish off with a supported bridge. So nice deep breath in. Bringing your hips and everything off the mat. into that bridge pose, and then bring your block under your bum. You can have it on the lowest setting there if that feels good. We can have it on the next setting up if that feels good. Just have it as high or as low as you need it to be, where it just feels comfortable. You can just relax onto it. You don't feel any pinching or tension in your lower back. It should feel comfortable and relaxing. And just take those nice deep breaths in and out again. And then bring the block out, bring your bum back to the floor. Just bring your knees into your chest and just rock here gently for a minute. Nice deep breaths in and out. And release. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Please let me know in the comments below if you did, or if it helped your stiffness in your hips. I'd love to know. Give me any suggestions that you'd like for future videos. Obviously, please like and subscribe, because that would be great. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.